here in the beautiful port city of Wilmington. And more specifically, we want to welcome you to our very own Parade of Stars banquet this evening. And I just want to say, I've never seen a more enthusiastic, dedicated, and conscientious bunch of people having such a great time. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pam Hauser, and I'm a member of the North Carolina Verbatim Recorders Association, an NVRA, and a CVR. On behalf of the NCVRA, I'd like to express our gratitude for the opportunity to host this event. As you all know, a lot of hard work and long hours went into planning this convention. The NVRA board members and the NCVRA board members have worked hand in hand to make this convention a success. And on behalf of everyone here, I'd like to say a special thank you to each and every one of you for making this year's convention a reality. This is teamwork at its best. I'd like to give special thanks to Barbie Laxton. I think she probably won a pageant sometime in her life. She should be the one up here doing this, not me. She's very good at it. And Victoria Clegg, of course, for all their outstanding efforts in pulling this convention together, and to all the members of their team here in North Carolina, as well as Jan Cooper, as we all know we couldn't live without. Thanks to all of you, we're all going home with a renewed positive attitude and a refreshed mind and spirit. The theme of this convention, On Location, and the theme of this evening's banquet were chosen to reflect a very important part of Wilmington's history and culture. As you all know by now, Wilmington is the home of the former De Laurentiis Film Studios, now Screen Gem Studios, the largest production studio east of Hollywood. And many hit films such as I Know What You Did Last Summer, Matlock, The Crow, Sleeping with the Enemy, Betsy's Wedding, Crimes of the Heart, From the Hip, and many more. Wilmington is also the home of a number of world-famous stars such as David Brinkley, Michael Jordan, Meadowlark Lemon, Charlie Daniels, Sammy Davis Sr., Woodrow Wilson, and one of my very own favorite star journalists, Charles Corral. As you all know, we're here this evening to recognize and award some stars of our very own. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce you to a very special star in his own right. He was a stenomask reporter in the Marine Corps from 1961 to 1964. Studied stenotype court reporting and was employed by the Connecticut Superior Court as a court reporter for 30 years. He's been retired for 2 years and is attending convention with his wife Sandy. He is an inventor of numerous court reporter products and techniques, including a filing system for audio tapes called box lid diagramming that you probably saw in the last issue of Stenomask Reporter. This year he achieved a long-time goal of becoming a member of NVRA and has a very meaningful work that he would like to share with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Bill Parsons.
Good evening. First off, I'd like to thank Barbie Laxton, Convention Chairperson, and Pamela Hauser, your Chairperson for tonight's banquet, for making it possible for me to share with you tonight the Court Reporter's Creed. About 4 months ago, I posted the Court Reporter's Creed on your website, and I forgot about it. A couple of weeks ago, Barbie Laxton emailed me asking about the history of the Creed, and she asked if she could share the Creed with your convention tonight. And then a couple of days ago, Pamela asked me to read to you the Creed tonight and give a brief history on it. The Creed is my, a little nervous, I prefer to do this in court with my notes in front of me. The Creed is my adaptation of an essay entitled, Who Am I, by a stenotypist court reporter, C.W. Casey Jones. The original Who Am I essay was first read 35 years ago by C.W. Casey Jones to the 1964 meeting of the Kansas Shorthand Reporters Association. In 1983, 16 years ago, I started to try to make adaptations of the C.W. Jones speech, and by 1991 I edited out parts and I added parts, and I retitled his speech, The Court Reporter's Creed. Over 90% of it is the original essay. Since 1991, I've made it my job to be the Johnny Appleseed of the Creed. Over the years, it has been sent to every stenotype court reporter association in the country, and has been given away at stenotype court reporter conventions. The United States Court Reporters Association even had the Creed posted on its website. The Creed has been enthusiastically received by stenotype court reporters. Framed copies are displayed in their homes and offices. One Texas school has framed copies in every classroom. The Creed has been read at memorial services for court reporters, and families have requested copies of it for their family histories. Now, why am I here? About 4 months ago, I decided the stenomass court reporters should be included in the Creed. And I made a new version of the Creed. I deleted the word stenographer and inserted voice writer. Being asked to read the Creed to you tonight is the highest privilege and honor I have had in my years of association with court reporting. And at this time, I'd like to read you the Creed. The Court Reporter's Creed. My profession stems from man's desire and his necessity to preserve the happenings of yesterday and today for tomorrow. My profession was born with the rise of civilization in ancient Greece. I was known as a scribe in Judea, Persia, and the Roman Empire. I preserved the 10 Commandments for posterity and was with King Solomon while building the temple. I was with the founding fathers of the United States when they drafted the Declaration of Independence. My hand labored upon the scroll that set forth the Bill of Rights. The immortal Abraham Lincoln entrusted me to record the Emancipation Proclamation. I was commissioned to be with Roosevelt at Yalta. I was with Eisenhower on D-Day and with MacArthur at Tokyo. I have kept confidence reposed with me by those in high places, as well as those in lowly positions. My profession protects the truthful witness, and I'm a nemesis of the perjurer. I am a party to the administration of justice under the law and the court I serve. I discharge my duties with devotion and honor. Perhaps I haven't made history, but I have preserved it through the ages. In the past, I was called a scribe. Today, I am the court reporter who sits in the courts of our country. I am the voice writer who sits in the United States Congress. I am the verbatim court reporter. Thank you.
And for all of you who stayed for the banquet this evening, we have a special treat. We have printed copies of this for all of you who want to take one. We'll have those at the back of the room after the banquet. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
That was great. Before I sit down, I'd like to take another moment to recognize Mr. Fred Harvey, who is one of our biggest stars. He's from North Carolina. He is our MVRA president and master of ceremonies this evening. And I'd like to ask Fred to stand up. Where is he? Well, let's give him a hand. Fred, for all your diligent efforts in the past year, and we really appreciate you being our president. We're going to have dinner now, and after dinner, Fred's going to conclude the program, and then the auction will happen after he's finished. Thank you.
Wow. Victoria Clay. Victoria, will you stand, please? Victoria has worked with our hotel. She has worked with the speakers. She has certainly done above and beyond the call of duty, and if you ever want to plan a convention and you want to see this woman at work, ask if you can tag along when she's negotiating, because you will certainly be surprised. Miriam Dutton, and Vicki Smith. Miriam, will you stand, please? Miriam manned the registration. You may not have been aware of it, but your name tag was coded as to the events you plan to attend, full registration, whether you were a guest, whether you were a committee chair. Hours and hours and hours of work went into this. I can promise you that. Vendors, Wanda Lindley, where are you? Wanda wrote letters to our vendors back in February, again in June, and again, and again, and again. She has gone above and beyond. We had more vendors this year than ever in the past. Publicity was Angie Graber, who is not here tonight. She wrote articles for the Stenomask Reporter. Victoria Clegg wrote articles for the Stenomask Reporter. Fred Harvey, internet galore. This guy knows more buttons to push on that machine that we work with every day than I could ever believe possible. Loretta Armstrong, where are you? Stand up, Loretta. Loretta was Sheriff Publishing. Thank you, Loretta. Hospitality. These are the girls that manned your hospitality suite. May Kirkman, Sandra Knight, Ann Todd, Fayetteville Court Reporters, Lumberton Court Reporters, Dennis Hyman, we couldn't thank you enough. Where are these girls? Carol Landry, testing. Carol, way over here in the back. The last count I think I had was 55 testing for different things. And of course, the first ever in real-time testing. And Nancy Cavender worked on this. She's not a North Carolina reporter, but I'd like to claim her if she would move. Nancy, where are you? Thank you, Nancy. Jennifer Malvis, Stacy Swin, they are Wilmington reporters. Where are you girls? Thank you. Anything that needed to be shipped to Wilmington ahead of time for the meeting, we said, send it to Jennifer and Stacy. I don't know what their office looked like. They had boxes and crates there, but they did a great job. They manned the information desk and made reservations for us for lunch and dinners when we were here. Margaret Dean Hart, who is a court reporter in Wilson, North Carolina, was chair of the Door Prize Committee. This girl sent out over 80 letters and then went door to door asking for door prizes. She's not here because she is in California meeting her future daughter-in-law, son-in-law, and children. She's getting married in October. We told her it was a good excuse. She came up Tuesday night and had dinner with us before. But she's done a super job on the door prizes. Betty Thorne. This is a committee that I asked Betty to take over at the very last minute, and she did a wonderful job. Betty, stand up for me. Betty's the one that got the letter from the governor of North Carolina, from the mayor of Wilmington, and a letter came in today from Senator John Edwards. Betty, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. Linda Garrett, Dee Omer, both were in charge of the video committee. The videographers that you've seen throughout the past 2 days have voluntarily given their time. This camera right here is one of those. Robert Bodenheimer's done a fantastic job, helped any way that we could, or that he could, including our little parade of stars tonight when you came in. He's going to video the auction tonight. But our videographers have given their time freely to be here, donated that to us. So if you need videos in the state of North Carolina, please call our videographers. Barbara Barnes was the chair of the Friday night luau. Barbara, she's gone. Her husband is drummer in the band Timepiece, which is our official NCVRA band. They had another gig tonight, so they have left. And of course, Neil Clegg, Victoria's husband, is our saxophone player. So has been in charge of the NVRA sales, all of the products that you've seen out there on NVRA. Kay, if you'll stand for me, please. Tonight's banquet was in the hands of Pam Hauser. Pam, please stand. And I couldn't get by without saying a special thank you note to Mr. Parsons for our poems that have been read throughout this convention. Thank you so much, Bill. Our auction tonight, I don't need to say anything else, okay? Annette Myers, auctioneer extraordinaire, okay? If you have not seen Annette do her auction bid, it is totally beyond words. Is that? That's it. I must say that the membership of the NCVRA has appreciated your involvement in this convention. We thank you for being here. We must give a special thanks to Jan Cooper, who is our executive director of NVRA. She has helped every committee that has been formed, that has put this convention on. And Jan, likewise, is attending her mother's 80th birthday weekend. So she is not here tonight, but she has done so very, very much for every member of NCVRA to make this convention possible. And with that, I truly thank you, and I call your president, Mr. Fred Harvey, and the board of directors to the podium. Thank you. My last official duty as your host of this convention is to present to Fred Harvey a map of the Cape Fear Coast signed, I hope, by everyone that has been here. Fred, we love you. This is for you. Thank you. Mr. President.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the concluding activities of the 33rd Annual Convention of the National Verbatim Reporters Association. I will not be ad-libbing this, and I'm going to read it. For those of you who don't know me and were not at yesterday's member forum, I am Fred Harvey, outgoing president of the NVRA. Have you all enjoyed yourselves here in Wilmington? Indebted to the convention committee this year for putting on this convention, our largest in many, many years, if not our largest ever. And I hope that you have found this year's convention to be worthwhile and that you will be with us next year. Voice recognition technology is what brings many of you here this year, and from now on it will only get better. So be sure to come to New Orleans next year and see what our vendors have to show you then. Before we go any further in our banquet program, I want to reintroduce the rest of the board. As I say your name, please briefly stand so everyone can see who you are. Our outgoing current board members are Alan McClung, President-elect, CVR-CM. Kay McGovern, Vice President, CVR-CM. Brenda Douglas, CVR Secretary. Mike Ashcraft, CVR Treasurer. Sandra Williams, one-year Director, CVR-CM. Linda Bartnick, two-year Director, CVR-CM. Nancy Cavender, three-year Director. And Pat Besky, our immediate past president, is unable to be with us this evening. Join me in giving your board a big hand for all of its hard work this year. I believe the only honorary member we have with us this evening is O.D. Landry. O.D., would you stand up? Susan,
My colleague, please, Susan.
Susan, I'm sorry, stand up. Nancy Cavender served as this year's chair of the Horace Webb Scholarship Committee. So at this point, I'm going to ask Nancy to step up to the podium to say a few words.
Mr. Fred, excuse me for interrupting. Is Jackie Means in here? Jackie? By God, you're right and I'm wrong. That's the first time. Sorry for the interruption.
Good evening. We'll present our Horace Webb Scholarship Awards. I'd like to present the 1998 Horace Webb Scholarship winner, Kimberly Smith from Hickory, North Carolina. I'm sure several of you will remember her from last year. She will make a speech and present this year's awards. Kim, would you please come forward?
Good evening. It is both an honor and a privilege for me to be here tonight. I stood before you last year as a student, and I'm standing before you tonight as a court reporter. I finished my schooling in late February, did my internship, and now I'm employed with Angie Baker's Student Schools in North Carolina in Charlotte. And that is also an honor and privilege. Now that I'm a working reporter, I realize just how important my education was. When I was in college, I took several classes that I knew I would never use that material again, and I haven't. With court reporting, I've used everything that I've learned, and I use it every day. And every day is a learning experience. We started out slowly. Angie was very good with us, with our class. We had 4. And she taught us how to use our mask and how to care for it, and then she moved on to the Marantz. She taught us about the difference between our speaking voices and our dictating voices, and about lag time, lagging behind the speaker. And in all this, she was teaching us the terminology, legal terminology in the medical and the business. And it's very obvious to me that without that terminology, I would be at a very, very severe disadvantage in my career. If you can't talk the talk, you certainly can't walk the walk, and you can't survive in this business. My education was taken one step at a time, as I said. And from the Marantz and the Cinemask and the terminology, we moved into transcribing. And I was a very big handicap there too, because I'm used to using Windows 98 and Windows 2000 and WordPerfect 8. So using WordPerfect 5.1 it was quite a transition back, not forward, as I'm sure you all know. So I had a little trouble with that, but I think I'm getting very good about mastering the technology, so to speak. And in the transcription process, I have to tell you, I'm an English major. I graduated from UNCC. So when it comes to the grammar and punctuation of court reporting, I found out I was at a disadvantage there too, because it's just a little bit different from what they teach you as an English major. And I have to tell you, I still have trouble with exactly where to put a comma or a semicolon, either one. But Angie's very, very good. She gives great advice, I'll tell you that. I like to think of court reporting as a puzzle, and that each piece in the educational process fits into that puzzle. And if one piece is out of line, then the picture is not complete. My credibility, your credibility as a court reporter, if you didn't have all of these pieces of the puzzle, well, you wouldn't have any credibility. I wasn't forced into this job, I chose it, as all of you chose it. And I am so very, very glad that I did. There were several times when I had my doubts, and I wanted to throw my computer out the window several times, burn my equipment, walk away, and never return again. It was tough, so. But I made it through it. I'm proud to say I made it through it, and I'm very glad to be standing here tonight. I have to tell you, I'm very excited about real time. It means a lot that being a young reporter, I'm coming in on this new technology, still being able to work with the old technology. But it's such an exciting time for MVRA, for myself, for the students, and for the future students to be able to provide this wave in. And I'll be taking my CDR exam in New Bern this year, this November, so please wish me luck on that. There's someone who's not here tonight, and I wish she was. I miss her very much, and she's conspicuous by her absence. She's my mentor, she was my teacher, she's my friend, and she is my boss, and that's Angie Graber. And I can't say enough about Angie. She is absolutely wonderful. It is such a thrill for me to be able to work with her and to work with her firms, because as far as I can tell, she knows it all. There's not one thing that Angie hasn't seen or heard or done. And she's constructive with her criticism. She's not rude, she's not harsh, she's not hateful. And then she rewards, she encourages, and then she rewards when she knows I've done a good job. And that makes me feel very, very good. Because right now, to me, pleasing her is the most important thing on my list when it comes to court reporting, outside of pleasing myself. But I'm the type of person that if Angie's not pleased, then neither am I. And I'm sorry she's not here. I really wish she was. I truly miss her, but she's in my thoughts. We're in her thoughts. And the last thing she told me before I left to come there was relax, in front of a group of friends who have all been there before, and have fun. And I have had fun. There's something that I've learned about court reporting that I feel I can share with this room, because I'm sure we've all been there before. There's a lot of people that feel that if I don't go to an office every day or go to a deposition every day, that I'm not working, that I'm sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. Well, that's not true. I am sitting at home doing something. I'm working on a transcript, but there's more to it. I hear sensitive information. I hear lewd information, and some of it's ludicrous. And some people I can't believe I have the audacity to actually be in front of. But I have to take that home with me, and I have to go through it again when I'm transcribing. And if you don't think I'm not working, then you sit and you listen to what I have to listen to sometimes, and you deal with what I have to deal with sometimes, and you tell me that I'm not working, because I can assure you I am. At least people who have physical jobs or jobs in an office where they answer a phone every day, a busy phone, at least they can go home and maybe put it behind them or wash the dirt off. As a court reporter, you can't wash that dirt off. You have to remain objective, yes, and you have to remain neutral. There's always that little part in the back of our mind that goes to bed with us at night, and wakes up with us in the morning. And it's just not something that you can get away from. So I'd invite anyone who had any questions or who thought I wasn't working to come with me one day, because I can assure you, I may not be sitting in an office and I may not be in a deposition, but to deal with what I have to deal with, and I'm sure to deal with what all of you have to deal with, it is work, and it's not always fun, and it's not always easy. But I wouldn't want to be doing anything else at all, because I love my job. It's the best decision I ever made in my life. And I'm lucky. I'm lucky to have my job. I'm lucky to have Angie. I'm lucky to be coming in on this new technology with voice recognition. And I'm especially lucky tonight because there are 5 people who have made such an effort to be here with me, and who have made such an effort to stand beside me this last year. It hasn't been easy for them either, but they made the best effort in the world to be with me tonight, and I love them so much for that, my family. I love you, and I thank you, and I couldn't have done it without you. And now, all of that being said, I think it's time for me to present this year, to kind of pass the crown along, I guess. I understand one of them is not here tonight, and that would be Jackie Burnett. She's from Marksville, Louisiana, and she will be going to Superior Schools in Atlanta, Georgia. She's receiving a $250 MVRA scholarship and a $500 Educational Services Scholarship from Superior Schools in Roberta, Newberry. And in her absence, let's just give her a hand. I have to say, I'm not a prejudiced person, but about this girl I am. I wish Angie were here to do this instead of me, but it gives me every pleasure in the world, on behalf of Angie, on behalf of NVRA, and on behalf of STEM Math Schools of North Carolina and Charlotte Court Reporting, to present to Lorna Ann Clothier a $500 scholarship and the Talk Tech that was donated, a convertible speech silencer to the Webb Scholarship. She is the winner of that as well, and she is here tonight to accept her awards. So, would you come up here?
Lorna, would you
Please come up here.
And I've got your silencer. Congratulations. Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Lorna. Whatever she's feeling right now, she was probably feeling so scared that her heart is going to leap into her throat. I told her earlier, and I'll tell her again, a year ago, I was in your position. I know what you're feeling, but trust me, you haven't made a bad decision. You're going into the greatest field in the entire world. And good luck. Thank you very, very much. Like I said, it was an honor and a privilege to be with you tonight. And I'll see you next year in my birthplace, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yay.
This year, the NVRA made history. We administered the first ever real-time verbatim reporter certification test. While no one actually earned the RVR, one person was less than 3 percentage points away from obtaining it. Considering that the technology is only 3 years old, I think that's pretty impressive. But what is more important than the award itself is the fact that we've begun to pave the way for the future. Because one of these years, perhaps next year, perhaps the year after that, someone will pass the test. And at that moment, the complexion of court reporting will be changed forever. A real-time standards committee was formed last year at the Atlanta Convention, and I asked Nancy Cavalier to head the committee. Since it was her committee that developed the RVR test and protocol, I would like to turn the podium back over to her for a few more words.
Thank you, Fred. While reading an old NVRA magazine, I happened upon an article that jumped out at me. It's written by the forefather of voice writing, Horace Webb. I'd like you to keep in mind that this article is written by Horace Webb in December of 1985. It's entitled Stenomask, Computer Assisted Transcript, CAT. A CAT system for Stenomask reporters is so near and coming so fast, I firmly believe that within 2 years we will be seeing pilot installations. There were some 250 companies represented at the San Francisco Symposium, and I'm positive not one of them revealed their most recent developments for obvious reasons, but it will give you an idea of what is going on. This is the future of the Stenomask system, and once we have the equipment in hand, there is no other system that will be able to touch it, at least not for many years. And can you imagine the beautiful training programs that can be set up by NSVRA? It will forever end this business of some country lad or lassie purchasing a Stenomask, a Sony recorder, and announcing to the world, I am now a court reporter. The new system will require professional training, professional skills, and professional degrees. In my humble opinion, this is the area to which the association should be devoting every ounce of its available resources and attention. We can add futurist to the list of accolades of Horace L. Webb. He saw the future way before now. Our test, our real-time examination. Let me start over. Sandra Fine will make a presentation for our real-time verbatim reporter participation, but we thought you might like to hear a little bit of the RVR, of what the RVR participants tested on. Keep in mind, this dialogue was completely unexpected and very difficult to follow. I'll read some of it for you. Question, specifically, what two individuals signed the Declaration of Independence on July 4th? Answer, John Hancock and Charles Thompson. Question, when did the other signatories autograph the Declaration of Independence? Answer, August 2nd, but the last signature was not obtained until 5 years later. Question, for what reason does the Eisenhower interstate system require 1 mile in every 5 be straight? Answer, these uniform portions of highway may function as airstrips during wartime or other emergencies. Question, what caused the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia to build twice as many bathrooms as necessary? Answer, when construction of the Pentagon commenced in 1941, segregation laws existed requiring separate toilet facilities for African Americans and Caucasians. Question, to furnish sufficient quantities of leather for a 1-year supply of the balls used in America's favorite sport, how many cows must sacrifice their lives? Answer, approximately 3,000. Question, what are the 3 most valuable trademarks on earth? Answer, Marlboro, Coca-Cola, Budweiser, in that order. Question, what is the average number of sesame seeds on a McDonald's Big Mac hamburger bun? Answer, approximately 178. Question, what is the only primate which carries the distinction of having no pigment in the palm of his hands? Answer, humans. Question, what 5 Jell-O flavors were not successful? Answer, coffee, apple, chocolate, and celery. Question, what percentage of New York cab drivers are recently arrived immigrants? Answer, 90%. Question, the sale of what product constitutes 10% of the income of the Russian government? Answer, vodka. Question, what was the only mammal incapable of jumping? Answer, elephant. Question, what is the linguistic significance of the phrase, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog? Answer, this unremarkable statement developed by Western Union to test telex communications intentionally uses every letter in the alphabet. Question, can you catalog 3 companies which are internationally well known for development of continuous speech recognition engines and the names of the speech engines they have developed? Answer, Dragon Systems developed Naturally Speaking. IBM devised Via Voice, and Kurzweil created Voice Express. For what purpose was the Tennessee Valley Authority established? Answer, the Tennessee Valley Authority was created to develop the Tennessee River and several tributaries as sources of inexpensive electric power, irrigation, etc. And the last one question, what was the only 15-letter word which can be spelled without repeating a letter? Answer, uncopyrightable. So you can see what they face. I'd like to ask Sandy Fine to come forward, the creator of our real-time examination. She has done an awful lot of work with the Real-Time Standards Committee in developing the test. She's going to make the presentation and give you a little bit more information about our participants in the RVR.
Good evening. As Nancy said, our 13 very brave reporters who dared to take this test were not prepared for the content of this test. They expected to state your name for the record, please type test, because you can see there was no context. One question and answer had nothing to do with the next question and answer. We didn't warn them, we probably should have, but they did a remarkable job, even though we didn't warn them that this was a little bit unusual. Of those who tested, let me tell you who they were. Linda Drake. Is Linda here? Would you come forward, Linda? I've got a certificate for you for participating in the exam. What happened to Linda?
She's coming.
Linda, I think, was the first speech CAD user, and she hates to test. She decided at the last minute to come here and do this, and she did remarkably well. I think the lowest test score we had was 77.76, which is unbelievable for the first test given in real-time verbatim reporting and testing. Brenda Douglas. Brenda decided to test about 2 hours before the test. Nancy Cavender. forgot to name her document. She was getting beautiful recognition and was so excited, and she saved her document without naming it, so it's somewhere in the Never Never Land. She was a little busy this trip. Kathy Stanford. Kathy here? Anybody who's not here will mail to them. Sandra Williams. Sandra said she laughed too much when she took the test to record it. Nancy Stone. Mike's ideal. I'm not through grading his test. Mike got a new microphone about 15 minutes before his test and didn't retrain his Q&A. We do Q-TIC, QMAC, A-TIC, AMAC, whatever suits us in a two-syllable word that works well for translation. Mike didn't retrain his microphone before he came to the test. So all of his A's turned out to the word creed, which automatically puts in 3 errors. So I'm going to regrade Mike's test and take the creed out and see what his real score was, because his test was beautiful, but for the creed. I'm leaving the 6 until last because these were our top scorers. Kay Butler, who hates and despises testing, was our number 6 winner. Kay went back to her room and was saying to her husband, "Do you have any idea how many sesame seeds are on a..." She also was trying to figure out the answer before she reported the question. Rebecca McClung was number... Oh, I'm sorry. Linda Winfrey, is she here still? Linda? Linda is number 5, our West Coast reporter. Thank you. Rebecca McClung, Mrs. Alan McClung. Let me give you some scores here. Kay Butler scored 84.84%. Linda Winfrey was 87.26%. Not bad for the first test, huh? Becky McClung was 88.52%. Sharon Lambert, who has left us already, scored 89.80%. Sharon's computer crashed and she had to get a loaner from Phil Kaufman, and so while everybody else was warming up for the test, Sharon was training her vocabulary to be able to test, but she still scored 89.80%. Mary Mills is our Air Force lady. Where is Mary? Mary came in second place with a score of 89.89%. Our number one winner and highest performer was Jim Bout. Jim scored 93.26% score. It says, let me read your trophy here. Jim Bout, CBR CM 1999 inaugural RVR for best performer. Thank you, Jim. And I think next year we're going to have winners. We had so many people that came so close. Most of them weren't even prepared. Jim's had his system for 7 months. Imagine learning how to use a speech recognition system in 7 months and scoring 93 point whatever it was, 26%. Thank you, all of you, for participating.
We also owe a special thank you to two individuals who performed the live dictation for the real-time verbatim reporter examination, O.D. Landry and Susan Breeden. O.D. and Susan, please come receive your certificates of appreciation for a job well done.
Susan and I go back a number of years, too.
We had a really good time.
And we were really honored to have been asked to do this. We do appreciate it very much.
We have yet one more award associated with the real-time verbatim reporter test, and this one is a surprise. Sandy Fine began working on the development of voice recognition in 1989. Her research led her into partnerships with Philips Dictation Systems USA, US Microshare, and Speech Law Incorporated, and a business alliance with AudioScribe Corporation from 1979 to 1999. In other words, Sandra has been pursuing ways for voice reporters to deploy speech recognition technology long before many of us even knew the technology existed. Sandy formulated and wrote the inaugural NVRA real-time verbatim reporter test, and she led the Real-Time Standards Committee in its commitment to producing a national voice recognition certification program. Sandy Fine is the standard to which all voice recognition real-time reporters can look. In recognition of Sandy's pioneering spirit and her contributions to the first real-time verbatim reporter test, the NVRA hereby awards to Sandy an honorary real-time verbatim reporter. Sandy, would you please come to the podium?
Oh, that's gorgeous. Thank you. I know it's most of you, it's hard for you to believe, but I'm without words. I don't know. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, for all the time and effort you have devoted to voice recognition technology. We also owe a thanks to those individuals who chaired committees and served on this year's board. As I call your name, please come forward to accept your certificates of appreciation and form a line. I ask that you hold your applause until all have received their certificates. Sandra Fine, NCRA Liaison. Anita Glover, Chair of the Technology Committee. Sandra Williams, Legislative State Association's Co-Chair. Alan McClung, Legislative State Association's Co-Chair and Long Range Planning. Michael Ashcraft, Chair of the Insurance Committee. Nancy Cavender, who did many jobs for the NVRA this year, the Real-Time Standards Committee, Minutes Committee, Horace Rec Fund Committee, Newsletter, and eVoice. Susan Simmons, Historian. Annette Myers, Stenomat Schools. Kay McGovern, Continuing Education. You're going to have to give yourself. Carol Landry, Workshop Testing. Susan, are you here? Susan Simmons? And last, but by no means least, two very important awards go to this year's convention host, Barbie Laxton, and House and Programs Chair, Victoria Clegg. And OD, we've got a certificate for you for the Ethics Committee. That's so awesome.
I have none. Thank you.
Now I'm going to turn the podium over to Carol Landry, our Workshop and Testing Committee Chair, who will make some certification awards and announce the results of the National Speed Championship, which a number of brave souls took yesterday. Carol?
Yeah, you will. Before I get to the speed contest, we have two members here who earned their certification this year, and I'd like to present their certificates to them. Mary Mills received her Certified Verbatim Reporter certificate. Mary Mills? And last time I was in New Orleans testing in June, Catherine Killingsworth passed her CM, Certificate of Merit. And before she knew that, she had randomly been chosen to have her registration fee and hotel fees paid for the convention. So then I was real happy when I could tell her she made it to the end. And she's also joining the workshop testing committee. Well, our National Speed Championship produced 3 champions this year, and it was a close race. I wish we could have had 7. Let's see. Start at the back. Kay Butler participated after doing the real-time test. So, Rebecca McClung also took the speed test after the real-time test. Kathy Stanford after the real-time test. And Wanda Lindley didn't take the real-time test first. But those that took the real-time test first, we better give them an extra hand because they were wore out. Okay, now for our winners. Our third place winner, also a real-time tester, Nancy Cavender. Her score, 98.628%. And our Grand National Speed Champion, Susan Green, will present her trophy.
Thank you, Susan. It's an honor.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
An alternative method also. I used my voice recognition system to take
Oh,
the
that's
test.
right, I forgot to tell you that. She did. And she was so nervous when she got done, she couldn't find her file. And then she found it, she couldn't open it. And after losing her one in the morning, the real time, I said, go get Claudia before you touch another key. She did, Claudia came up, found it, printed it, and number 3, Nancy, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And it gives me a real great pleasure to announce number 2 was Elizabeth
Shields.
Shields. Liz, I've been with her many times when she's been in convention and tested, and this time I didn't even tell her she could use the laptop, and she brought her typewriter. From a real-time system to the old IBM Selector 3. And Liz's score was 98.685%. And, you know, the 98.685 and the 98.628 may not mean too much, but Nancy had 24 errors, Liz had 23, and now our first place goes to Kay McGovern, testing for the first time. Kay's score was 98
0.57%. Congratulations. And also, we have to take home the traveling trophy for a year. She's got her name added and her score to that. And we're real happy for Kay, and we hope she comes back next year in New Orleans and takes the big trophy home with her then.
I'd like to say that Susan Green conducted the workshop where I got my CM, so it's a real honor to have you present me the trophy.
Well, it makes me feel good then.
Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for taking the NSC, and Kay had 20 errors, so 20, 23, and 24. And I wish we could have had 7 places, but especially a 4th place, because Kathy Stanford had 98.4. She had 28 errors. But congratulations to everybody who took it. It was